welcome to Hear Her Hands. My name is Jennifer, and I am a knitter, crocheter, quilter, and sewist located in Baltimore, Maryland, where I live with my cat, who I'm going to kick out now. Are you going to stop, or do I need to? Yeah. Hello, welcome to the Hear Her Hands knitting podcast. My name is Jennifer. I am a knitter, crocheter, quilter, sewist, all-around creative person. I am located in Baltimore, Maryland, where I live with my partner, and 2 miniature schnauzers, 2 black cats, and on top of all that, I am deaf, chronically ill and disabled. So life is complicated sometimes. Today we're gonna do a little bit of a project podcast update for the typical standard style, I guess. Do not have any finished objects, so we're not going to be starting with finished objects. We're going to start with whips and once we've gone through my current main whip project, we'll talk a little bit about my plan for spring knitting, and how I am going to manage my ambitious number of whips, and manage finishing things, which is something I really want to do, while also keeping things interesting and hopefully having some space for cast-ons. We have a little bit of chaotic cast-on energy going on here. I did cast on a project in the middle of the project. Project I'm currently, my main magnum opus for this season I'm currently working on is my Hearthside Cardigan, because I'm a mannequin right now, which is double sweatering it. It is knitted to the length of the brioche that I want. I had stopped specifically to block it to make sure it was long enough, because the pattern said to knit, I think, like 14 inches or something, and I'm a really petite person, and really, I like to wear my sweaters long. I do already knit most everything to about 13 inches, and that is long. And I was concerned that this is going to grow a lot, and I think 14 inches would have come down to my knees. So we did a little bit of a mid-ish project block to see if I had to keep going or not. So it has been blocked. I think it looks fantastic. However, I'm a little tiny bit worried about running out of blues. So I am using 2 Advent projects. I don't know. I'm using 2 Advents. One was the For God So Loved the World Advent by McPurly, which I was using as leftover, that one. And the main majority of that project was actually that was being used in my Anthology throw. So I was using less than 25 grams for this. However, it did get me most of the way through. but I'm kind of concerned because I think I have 3, like, 10 grams left, and I have all of the finishing details too, and the brioche sleeves, and I'm just generally kind of concerned I'm gonna run out of yarn, especially in that color. So, like, particularly the, like, outside color on this is, like, the blue is, like more of a light blue with purpley color, going to, like, darker blues. And then, like, on the back we've got some blue greens, because the shade goes from blues to, like, Caribbean blue green watercolors, and then it goes into greens, like land colors. And for some reason I still have kind of green left, because I actually have not finished my blanket. But I'm not hugely concerned that I'm gonna run out of green. But I don't want my sleeves to be green, and I'm concerned I'm gonna run out of blue. So that being said, I have both games in here that are previously bought from other dyers that I really like. So this one I think goes really well. It is darker, but it is not. I don't think it's the right makeup. So this is Fiber Co. This is local to me. However, this is a organic merino, which does not have any superwash or any, like, nylon in it, and both of the yarns I'm using definitely are, like, cotton. So my other option is from another 11 Stitches dyer, which is Casey Knits, and this one is Morning Tide, but this definitely is a superwash merino nylon. So they're like, this is more of a, like, green teal with purple, I think. But I don't think it's, like, outside of the realm of this, like, project exactly. I think it fits. I do think this one is actually much darker, so this is really a better fit. It's sort of debating. Everything else on this project is very, like, pale blue currently, and I'm worried it might look a little weird. But I mean, really, what I need to do is I need to do the rest of my knitting. I need to knit the, like, hem and the button band sleeves, and, like, I won't know if I'm gonna run out of yarn until I get to the sleeves. But I'm very suspicious I might. However, so let's go back to, like, project app information on this. So this is my Hearthside Cardigan I'm knitting the second size, mostly because I wanted to wear the more, like, puffy fit. I am very much between a size 1 and a size 2 in most everything. I'm very small from, like, under the arms, upper bust, up to shoulder. But then my best is stock. Gotta say, it's like phase of life. It's no. So, things don't fit like they used to. So I guess I'm kind of looking for a little bit more comfort in my knits, which means I am sizing up a little bit. And also means that I like comfort, like, as far as length. So I'm knitting things long. But this pattern, I mean, I think we're good. I think this is a good spot. I had left it after I blocked it because I wanted to talk about it before I started knitting. So, hem, bottom part of it, not ribbing. this pattern uses garter instead of footing, so that will be interesting. It'll be very much thicker and more stable, sturdy, something like that. But as my Hearthside, that is, the body is knit, and now I have to move on to all the finishing, and then because it's for games, balls, strings of yarn for each part, I don't want to be able to knit the sleeve to it as time, which is what I want to do. So that is going to be an adventure. And I'm not looking forward to it. But that is what it is. Yeah, so that is my magnum opus. Like, very proud of this. I've learned how to do brioche. It took me a full day of knitting and stuff. I did figure it out. And it's been great. I cannot wait to have it done. Kind of afraid I'm not going to be able to finish it before I leave for the next trip in my life. That's a couple weeks. And maybe I should focus on finishing this. What do you think? Yeah, that is Hearthside. Majority of it is knit on a 5mm needle, which is size at 4.5. It's a slightly bigger needle. As per usual, that is what happens to me. I'm very tight knitter. So the crinkling. So that. The other big project that is also that yarn. So this is my anthology. So it is very much on the way. I'm getting there slowly but surely. It's gonna be gorgeous when it's done. I got some ways to go. And this is just not the one I care about finishing right now. That is what I care about finishing. So this might continue to be sitting around in my bag. But my anthology throw, I am knitting this in the Forgot to Love the World Advent by McPurly. It is a blanket pattern by Helen, Stewart, and it's a circular blanket, so it's very much like knit in the round. And I think it's gorgeous. This yarn is so much fun. It is so interesting how incredibly different this yarn looks on the blanket versus the cardigan. But yeah, it's really gorgeous. I can't wait to see it finished, but that will probably still be like May, unfortunately. It's just like, I so badly want to finish things, I really kind of have to pick and choose what I'm finishing. Like, I did finish my mittens, I finished a pink top, and the other thing I'm nearly done with, is not nearly as exciting, are my little sockies. So I am knitting these socks. Are deep stash yarn. I got this yarn in Dayton, Ohio, when my best friend from when we lived in Atlanta moved to Ohio, and we moved to Baltimore. We just finished. We visited them pretty early on, and she was a knitter. And I was not a knitter at the time. I was a crocheter, and I went to her local yarn store. I believe she worked at her local yarn store at the time as well, and that is where I bought this pretty green and blue golden brown yarn, and I turned the majority of it into a wax. But the last little bit I have left is going into silk, and they are so much fun. They are the May pattern from Generally Knit's Colorwork Craft Club from last year, I think. That pattern has like a little, probably a drop stage. I'm not sure what this is. So it's like a pattern, and they're really cozy and comfy. And honestly, I have like 3 more inches on the ankle leg, and then I'll be done with these. So really, I've kind of working on these. And while I'm working on these, I'm working on that. But while my Hearthside was blocking and I was sort of waiting for it to dry, I was influenced by a couple of different things. So first off, the 11 Stitches membership had a bunch of people meeting up at Carolina Fiberfest, I believe, a couple weeks ago, and all of them had at some point knit this pattern. This is the Love Note, and I am knitting it in Periwinkle from the Happy Jade. I'm knitting it in her Joyful Fingering and the Suri, which I don't remember what it was called, but I have started it. I am going to do a rolled edge on the neckline. So I started with a provisional cast on because this kind of provisional cast on is the only provisional cast on I can work for me, and I'm not sure why, but that's what I did. I started with provisional cast on, and I started knitting, and I have already completed all of the lace work for the pattern, so really I just have to knit at this point. I'm really gonna be doing like some raglan shaping, I think, under the arms, and then we'll go on to knitting the body and the sleeves. So this is my love note. I did knit my love note in the second size. I wanted it to be like sort of oversized. It does not have a mark point on it, so it looks big at this point. But I really if you ever have a chance to knit with So Happy Jane's yarn, I recommend them. It is very pretty, and it will be such a gorgeous sweater when it's done. Very sweet. But I love this color. Like last year, I think my color was fun. It still is one of my very favorites, but I think so. This is my love note. Oh yeah, and I knitted it on bigger needle. These are a 6.5 millimeter. We have really good progress on that. This is a Periwinkle yarn. There's a tiny little bit of purple in there. It is really gorgeous. So those are my 4 major whips. And have that's very okay. So I have some a couple of things. I'm going to travel. I have 2 t-shirts and a light weight sweater in the works already that I really want to finish as well. So I need to kind of think what I'm gonna do is spin the wheel of projects and let that decide which of those 3 projects is coming with me. In addition to my muscle bird and pair of socks. And hopefully I can just focus in on that project and get it somewhere done. Really, all of these projects require too much thinking for Ravel projects. I think it's like fairly cool. So I don't think I will be bringing any of the projects I talked about on my trip. However, this weekend we are doing a little thing called a knit-a-thon, which is going to be an all-day, 12-hour knitting marathon, like trying to finish projects. So I am actually going to initially use my wheel of whips to decide which project to work on for each hour and see if that can help me get a little bit further because I'm feeling kind of stuck. But so for that wheel of whips, it will be the Hearthside, the Love Note, the Anthology, and the socks. There are other things I would love to add to that, but I do not have to cast on. I do have, my mini millionaire. I think I can bring that down to add as well. And just sort of like focus on those. But also, it's very possible that I might, depending on how lively it gets, I might decide to just focus on the blanket project because I have I think I have like 10 more streams left to go, and like I am so close to not on that project, and I want to be done, so I can drop it. But yeah, I mean, I just had kind of, I've been sort of chaotically knitting this year. I have a couple of like little projects here and there. I started teaching myself how to crochet flowers. That's been a thing in the 11 Stitches community. A couple of different people have started crocheting flowers for like almost all of them are for bouquets for like weddings or rehearsals for family members, and that is definitely not the point of me. But I am learning how to crochet flowers because I feel like it's a really useful skill. So it's going to be either crochet flowers, crochet granny square, or something. In my summer this where I am hoping, where I'm planning going to summer camp, but we're still deciding on like what activities people are going to do. So if anyone's interested, my offering for the summer camp are how to teach people how to crochet a flower, crochet a granny square, or knit a square probably. Like how do you knit basic scratch. And then like going from there for people want to learn. But I feel like it'll be really productive. And flowers are really fun if you don't pick a project that has like 15 petals. Yeah, I will add a link below with all of like sort of this website that mostly they sell tips for like how to do these, but they also have some in YouTube and they have some free patterns. So if you want to learn first, like try a pattern and see if it's for you, because a lot of people are finding it's not for them. I will share that as well. I think it's really awesome. I've had a lot of fun. The main flower I'm working on right now is called the corn poppy. And I'm knitting it in like a sunny yellow color. I really wanted to knit a yellow rose with Texas, but the rose patterns are extremely detailed, and I got very overwhelmed very quickly. So that is not the first. That is not something I recommend for a first challenge crocheter. Not for me anyway. So that's all for my little blurb for today. My review of projects. I will follow up next week with where we are on this sweater. I really think I can at least get somewhere with the for the hem at least, and then maybe the sleeves. It's just I'm not really knit sleeves so that yeah. So that is all for this March project update. And putting you knitting this March, what is your favorite, your main project? This one is my magnet. I honestly I cannot wait to show you when it's done. It is so lovely and squishy, and the yarn is so soft. I think that is going to be very much a favorite foreign project. Kind of like this one is. I love this one so much that I am pretty sure I'm gonna knit it again. I just might knit a slightly bigger size because it's definitely not. It's definitely a different look. It's so comfy. Yeah. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.